Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move a motion exercised by the Deputy County Governors of the powers and functions vested in the office of the County Governor in the absence of the substantive holder of the office. Mr. Speaker, sir, that cognizant that Article 179(4) of the Constitution designate the County Governor and the Deputy County Governor as the Chief Executive and Deputy Chief Executive of the county, respectively. Further, cognizant that, pursuant to Article 186 of the Constitution, a County Governor and Deputy Governor are elected on a joint ticket with Article 179(5), providing that whenever the County Governor is absent, the Deputy County Governor shall act as a County Governor. Aware that in several counties, Deputy County Governors have had to serve as County Governors due to the absence of the substantive County Governor arising from ill health, incapacity, or orders emanating from the courts barring the substantive Governor from assessing office. Acknowledging that Section 32(4) of the County Governments Act places limitation on the exercise by the Deputy County Governor while acting as Governor of the powers to nominate, appoint, or dismiss that are assigned to the Governor under the Constitution or the written law. Noting that, other than the said limitation, under Section 32(4) of the County Governments Act, no other restraints are placed in law on the exercise by the Deputy County Governor of the powers and functions of the Governor whenever the Governor is absent. Aware that, in exercising the powers and functions of County Governor, pursuant to Article 179(5) of the Constitution of Kenya, Deputy County Governors face a myriad of legal operations and administrative challenges which hinder the effective functioning of the county governments and the efficient delivery of services to the public. Now, therefore, the Senate direct that the National Treasury, the Control of Budget, the Auditor General, and the respective county assemblies and the County Executive Committee members to work directly with the Deputy County Governor while exercising the functions of County Governor in order to facilitate the effective functioning of county governments and the effective delivery of service to the public. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I really appreciate you allowing me to move this motion in an amended format. Mr. Speaker, sir, the genesis of this motion is really on what is happening with the development of different court rulings which are coming up in this country. We're at a time where we in this House develop legislations which are supposed to protect particular offices, but somehow we forget that there are other consequences. They always say choices have consequences. Article 179(5) of the Constitution of Kenya states as follows, Mr. Speaker, sir, that whenever a county, and I'll read it, when the county governor is absent, the deputy county governor shall act as the county governor. Subsequent, Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 180 of the Constitution is very clear. It clearly states that a governor and a deputy governor are elected on the same ticket. Now, in this country, we find ourselves, Mr. Speaker, sir, in a situation where we have the courts, which is one arm of government, coming out with very clear orders that a governor who has been elected by the people cannot have access to the office. Mr. Speaker, sir, this governor is the same governor who appoints CECs and CEOs. When he's not, and you know we're in an environment where politics dictates and loyalty also rules in this country, Mr. Speaker, sir. So you find that in Kiambu County and Samburu County, these two counties, the citizens of those two counties are suffering, Mr. Speaker, sir. And it would be very wrong for us in this House, who are the people who are elected to defend the county and its government, to just sit and watch. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, when the County Government Act was enacted, I am of the view that certain things were overlooked. Although the Constitution prohibits a deputy governor from carrying out certain functions like, firing, CCs, or those people who were elected by the governor, when he's acting as a governor, nothing else stops him from reshuffling them. Because currently, we have a lot of problems in this country, Mr. Speaker, sir. There are so many pending bills. Procurement laws have been violated. The PFM Act has been violated. So when a substantive governor is in office, Mr. Speaker, sir, some might even argue that everyone who is given business is someone who is close to that governor. All of a sudden, Mr. Speaker, sir, when the deputy governor now takes charge because of the courts or maybe illness of the governor, that deputy governor or acting governor cannot do anything. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I decided that it is time that we clarify this. Because when people suffer on the ground, because the deputy governor is just there, the deputy governor, Mr. Speaker, sir, having been elected in the same ticket with the governor, is not a flower girl or a flower boy. Is a person who stands there to represent the people. We saw very well that in Bomet, when the Lord decided to take the substantive governor who had been elected, the deputy governor came in and took charge. So I think in this situation where we know that in this country, because of challenges either with the judiciary, because of challenges either with the budget, sometimes some matters in court will not be decided expeditiously. It will take a very long time. So should we wait for 5 years to end, to lapse, before a matter can be determined? And at the same time, should the people of these two counties, Kiambu County and Samburu County, continue to be dictated upon by a governor who is sitting outside the fence? So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I think this House has a very good opportunity. Because and I sit in the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, when we call the control of budget to ask questions about certain things, they're always quick to say the governor should be giving you the right answers to this. But now, when you have a deputy governor who is acting as a county governor and cannot be able to give us the answers because he's being seen just as a flower girl or a flower boy, then we are really putting this country in jeopardy. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't wish to delabor on this matter. But I think reading the Constitution and also reading the County Governments Act, nothing prohibits a deputy governor from carrying out functions which were being carried out by the governor, except those which were clearly indicated there in the Act. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move this motion in an amended format and request Senator Madzayo to second it. Mr. Speaker, sir, I respect my colleague very well, but sometimes it is wrong for a colleague to jump into a matter without really reading the motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, this motion is relying 100% on the Constitution and not on the substantive legislation. If, Mr. Speaker, sir, my dear colleague, Senator from Nandi, would have been listening to my submissions, I made it very clear that the difference we have is where these governors, deputy governors, have not been restricted by the Constitution to carry out certain functions, unless, apart from those which are clearly indicated in the Act. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at my motion, which I hope that my dear brother would have read, it is very clear. I said, acknowledging that Section 32(4) of the County Governments Act places limitations on the exercise by the deputy county governor while acting as governor of the powers to nominate, appoint, or dismiss that are assigned to the governor under the constitution of the written law, nothing else. So what I'm saying is that there are certain limitations which are very clear, and I've acknowledged those, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm saying the deputy governor has not been limited or restricted from reshuffling. The Constitution gives him that power. Article 179(5) gives the deputy governor powers to act as the governor when a substantive governor is not in office. I am not suggesting that when a court of law in this country has made a ruling that now we have more powers than the court of law. All I'm saying is that the court of law has already barred these two gentlemen from accessing the office. So if they have been barred from accessing the office, should we also just sit and watch as they run the county governments outside? Mr. Speaker, sir, we live in a country where a telephone can make all the decisions. And when the county governor is not in office, as it is the case in Samburu and Kiambu, those people are suffering. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to clarify to the distinguished senator from Nandi that I am not in any way attempting to bring in a deputy governor as the governor through the back door. All I'm saying is this: now that the court has barred them from accessing their offices, they cannot purport to be running the county governments outside their offices. We need services to continue. And since both the county governor and the deputy governor were elected on the same ticket by the people, and since this constitution gives the deputy county governor powers to act as a governor, of course with limitation, nothing else, Mr. Speaker, sir, have they been restricted from carrying out. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have listened to the contributions by my colleagues, but I'm baffled because in this House, we are the House which is tasked with protecting the interest of counties and its government. And devolution being a new baby which is crawling, there are so many things which are unique in their characteristics. This is what in law is defined as sui generis. This is a situation where we have found ourselves that a court of law, which is another arm of government, has barred these governors from accessing their offices. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you read the decision by Justice Mumbi, she equates this to these governors having been accused of committing a moral illegality. Something, yeah, the term she used is moral ill health, which means she's not saying I'm barring these people from accessing their offices entirely, but it's for the duration of the trial, what they have been accused of. Mr. Speaker, sir, what we are seeking to find here is a solution where we have got a county governor barred from accessing his office. And this is why I differ with the majority leader when he says that a governor can perform their functions outside the office. They can't. Because when you look at the circumstances that led for that governor to be barred from accessing that office, is that what the judge called moral ill health? But in this case, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm not focusing...
No, that's okay, but those words by Justice Ngugi were obiter dicta, meaning they had not been canvassed and they are not binding in law, actually, to be honest with you. It's just to provoke thought. But you can rely on them in that persuasive manner, but not binding.
My issue, Mr. Speaker, sir, a governor could be admitted in a hospital somewhere in this world, away, and they stay there for a period where is not defined or determined.
Like was the case in Bomet.
The case in Bomet. What about the public interest, Mr. Speaker, sir? What about the services of people who have got to get certain services delivered to them? Mr. Speaker, sir, apart from a governor, even the president is not referred by the Constitution as a CEO. But when you look at a governor, he's being referred as a CEO. Every single legislation out there looks at a governor as a CEO. If you look at, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at other parastatal bodies that we have in this country, where a CEO has been found, has been asked to step aside, during criminal proceedings. That person has not been removed from that office. In the case of Kenya Pipeline Corporation or Kenya Power and Lighting Company, those two CEOs were asked to step aside from their office. And a temporary CEO was put in place so that you do not interfere with the services being provided to the citizens. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to request my colleagues that because of public interest, not politics here. And Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to be seen as a house of reason. I want us to divorce politics from public service.
Order, Senator Ledama. You should not impute improper motives. I don't, unless you have proof.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
That there has been politics by any particular senator, because I have not heard any politics myself.
True. All right, I take that back, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you.
I think the key most important here is that this is a unique situation that we have found ourselves. And I would like to plead with the majority leader to really think about the merits of this matter. Hypothetically, suppose we change the word being barred from accessing the office by the court, a court order. What about if a person is out there ill and they cannot be able to access the office? You'll get your time. I think you should be patient enough because...
No, let him finish. Let him finish. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a matter of public interest. It has got nothing to do with the position of a governor. Maybe in future, some of us might aspire to be there. But what we are looking for, Mr. Speaker, sir, is continuity. People in Kiambu are suffering. People in Samburu are suffering. Maybe another governor somewhere would fall sick. Even though the law does not spell out what should happen, I think it behooves us as the House of Reason to be able to come up with something, with this, something that come in between. We've had, even from the submission from my colleagues, that whatever is bad from being, the deputy governor is not supposed to either dismiss, appoint a new CC. All I'm asking is for you to see the logic behind continuity and public interest, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to stop there and request that this matter proceed, this motion proceed, and then we can vote for it. Even if it calls for county governments to vote for it, so long as all of us would have been given an opportunity to try and ensure that this country maintains a fiduciary responsibility. It is very sad, Mr. Speaker, sir, when you hear deputy governors out there arguing that,
yes,
now that the substantive governor is out, because I've been watching, Mr. Speaker, sir. I've been watching the Kiambu deputy governor speaking. I've been watching other people talking in the media. I've heard the Samburu deputy governor speaking and saying that now, whatever changes they want to effect, the CCs are taking orders from the governor out there. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is about time. And I want to end by saying this. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, Mr. Speaker, sir, when we were debating the issue of raising the interest, the debt ceiling to 9 billion, I used a quote here, which the President said. The Chief Justice should go and sit down with him and discuss. I think it will get to a point where even the Speaker of this House would find some time to sit down with the Chief Justice and the President, because they are the leaders of the three arms of government, and discuss and say what happens in a situation like this. This is a unique position. We in this House, as a House of Reason, must come up with a unique solution to it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.